Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Andrew Laidley. Jamaica is closer to being removed from the list of countries required to submit a follow-up report to the Financial Action Task Force, FATIF. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement in Parliament today while giving an update on the island's anti-money laundering progress. The Financial Action Task Force is an intergovernmental organization based in Paris charged with the responsibility of developing policies to combat money laundering. Last February, Jamaica was added to the FATIF grey list, signaling that the country was not fully compliant with all the anti-money laundering requirements. 1 year later, and Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark is reporting progress in meeting those demands.
Jamaica is now compliant, Madam Speaker, or largely compliant with 27 of FATF's 40 recommendations. This is a substantial improvement over the compliance or partial compliance with only 17 out of 40, Madam Speaker, when our mutual evaluation was undertaken 5 years ago and published in 2017. Madam Speaker, those who know anything about AML CFT, this is a huge positive change. There's much more work to be done, but we have to pause to note the progress that Jamaica is making.
But the country isn't out of the woods as yet. In order to be exempt from the follow-up reporting process, Jamaica will need to satisfy at least 32 of the 40 recommendations. Dr. Clark outlined when the island might be able to achieve that.
Some of the things that we have left are difficult. Certainly the National Risk Assessment, Microcredit Bill, definitely we'll get those. I'm hoping we'll get the Companies Act amendment this year, as well as maybe the United Nations resolution. I would say I would give, within 2 years we should be able to do that.
The Finance Minister is hopeful that satisfying the Financial Action Task Force recommendations will help to improve the country's overall anti-money laundering profile among other similar organizations.
Our sort of understanding is as long as we meet the commitments under that action plan, then we should be favorably considered. And we intend to meet the commitments under the action plan. The first commitment for 2021 under the action plan is to pass a bill to regulate the microcredit sector, which is before the Parliament today.
Jamaicans are still pessimistic about the state of the economy amid the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, they are hopeful that their income and the job prospects will improve. The responses were included in the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Business and Consumer Confidence Indices for the fourth quarter presented today by Managing Director of Market Research Services, Don Anderson. Now, Mr. Anderson noted that the movement in consumer indices is relatively flat.
To a large extent, we can see that the consumers, whilst there was a slight uptick in the index over the last quarter, they are at a stage where they believe that the situation is in fact pretty bad, and there are only very few who believe that it will get better, and they are really not basing this expectation on anything that's really concrete. And we would like to conclude that to a large extent it might be their hope rather than their expectation, but we need to look at the business side to see whether this is real or not.
On the other hand, business confidence is rising, with more companies deciding to invest in their operations. Assistant General Manager of SME Business at NCB, Tanya Algrove, confirmed that the bank has witnessed the optimism among business owners.
Businesses are undertaking investment and expansion activities and positioning themselves for recovery and growth. We are actually seeing quite a bit of that within the bank, where businesses whose revenues have in fact fallen off are looking down the line and saying we are expecting the recovery to start taking place, whether it be 12 months, 18 months from now, and we are going to undertake all the activities that we need to do to position ourselves for when that recovery starts to really kick in.
Adam Stewart has been appointed as Executive Chairman of the Sandals and the ATL Group. Mr. Stewart's appointment follows the death of his father, Gordon Boach Stewart, on January 4. He has been Deputy Chairman of both companies prior to this appointment. To currency trading now, it ended today with the US dollar selling for $145.48. The Canadian dollar is selling for $115.06. The pound sterling sells for $197.47, while the euro is going for $178.89. The JSE index lost 3,280 points today, and the junior market index declined 11 points. Among the winners were KLE Group, JMMB Group 7.25%, Cargo Handlers, Proven US Dollar Shares, and Key Insurance. On the losing side were 138 Student Living, CAC 2000, 1834 Investments, and Sterling Investments US and Jamaican Dollar Shares. And that's the business day. I'm Andrew Laidley. Good evening.